Hi Tom, thanks for your patience while I find some time to get this review together. Um, I think there's definitely some improvement from last time, um, but when I'm watching this, um, I think there's still a lot of pulling going on, and there could be more hanging of the weight on the oar handle. So I think to start with sequencing is important to get yourself into the right position, because when I watch this, when you establish your forward body angle, it's not until about here, right? And so I think some of this is mobility, some of this is getting mobile enough so that you can get into this position here, right? So let me get this figured out. What I'm looking for is establishing this position, right? Getting this forward body angle as early as possible in the recovery, so that you get to the catch in a good position to start pushing. And so what we're looking for here is this I'll draw this in different colors here. Um, you know you know so sitting up a little bit more, right? And there's your there's your release position, and creating space between your body and your hands, right? So that your next position here is this, right? So create the space between, so if the blue is position number 1, right? And let's see here. And yellow is position number 2, and green is position number 3. That arms away, that rock and road drill, where you pause, at position number 1, and then you let the arms go away, and you swing into the number 3 position, and pause at the number 3 position, and getting that early body prep. And then what's important is that once you get to this position, your upper body is basically set for the rest of the recovery. So, and so what I'm watching here is, I think mobility is, we want to be as basically by about here in that position, right? Establishing that position so that you can roll up into the catch and be in a strong position in order to initiate that drive. So what we're looking at here is, when we get to the catch here, there's a lot of, you can see the upper body, right? And you can see that the drive for you is really through here, and trying to create force here. But the problem with that is you can't really connect the hands with the foot plate. Looking at the physics of this, in straight lines, what we're looking at is there, right? And actually, when I look at this, what I think is moving in the right direction is, this angle right here. Once we've got to that angle, there's a little bit of that line there is the straight line between the lat muscle and the hip. And there's a little bit of this, that's where the force is going, right? And then we've got this connection here, bump, bump, little over compressed. And I do think that by getting more flexible around the hip, so I'm going to give you a warm-up flow from my friend strength coach Will, in terms of really warming up the ankles. The ankle's the number one joint. Warming up the hip, and getting the glutes really warmed up, so that because I think it's the problem is it starts at the release position number 1, 2, 3. That's where the problem starts, and then it manifests here at the catch. So often what happens before the error is what we're looking at, not at the point where the error happens, right? That's the symptom, but it's not the cause, if that makes sense. So once we're in this position right here, what I'm looking for is to suspend your weight, with your lower body off the handle. And I don't think you're using your body weight effectively, or as effectively as you can, because what we want to do is we want to suspend your body weight between the feet and the hands. And so that first part of the drive has to be pushing and driving through the hips, and really, I think, waiting to open the body up. And so what you can do to fix that is, let's say, okay, here's your catch position, right? Sorry, hold on, undo that. Here's your drive position. And what I want to see is you're sort of practicing that drive sequence. So you could do the first quarter of your stroke. So, the first quarter of your stroke is going to be something like, it looks a bit like this, right? You're driving your legs down. Then you could do the first half of your leg drive. And I think at this point, what I want to see is still your body your forward body angle still there. And so when you get to this point in the drive, then I think what we want to do, that now we're starting to open the body up. And so what we've got is the legs are halfway down, they're almost 3/4 of the way down. And then what you can do is, you're getting the handle moving, and then boom, you can explode with the hips, and that's where the deadlifting comes in, right? That's where we want to fire the hips, so that at that point, it'd be interesting to see the force curve. You can get remote rowing coach on that, and then export the detailed CSV and send that over to me. Because what I'm interested in specifically is what's happening. If this is your force curve, right here, what we're looking to do is look at what's happening here and here and here and here. And specifically, I'm interested also in what's going on here and here, because that gives us the clues to, are you actually accelerating your handle? Is it a continuous acceleration, or is there some discontinuity in it? And I think that's more information. But I think what you can see here is that if we're just a bit more patient with opening the back up, we're going to be able to accelerate the handle a lot more effectively through here. And now I've drawn 300 lines over the whole thing. So I'll go back to the drive is here and here, and I want to see you, engage the lat here, and I want to see your neck a little bit more, right? I can't really see your neck right there. So, lowering the shoulders are a bit high, creating the space here, between here and here. And I think some of this is mobility, right? Flexibility, coaches say flexibility at free speed, right?
I mean, I can give you all the video analysis, hours and hours of it, but ultimately, if we're not mobile enough to get to that position, so if you're lifting, really spending the time to warm up, really spending the time to stretch after you lift, spend that extra 10 minutes. That's time well spent. Once you've activated the muscles and lifted, then stretch to really work on that mobility when you're warmed up. And I think the warm-up flow that I'm going to give you is going to help with that. And so I think you can see now, when you look at this, you see how the body, your body's already opened up. So therefore, you've got nothing to do that release with. And so the last point I want to make is, if you watch this, you lose connection on the back end of that stroke because you've already opened the body up, and here you have to lose acceleration because you've spent the body, and so what happens is your arms have got all the work to do at the end of that, right? And so when you look at your feet, watch your feet right here. See how the toes lift right there? That's a loss of connection. So how to fix that? First of all, it's postural, right? Sitting up right here, postural. And what I want you doing with your core, and this is where the core work comes in, is sitting up and strong here, right? If you're strong here, you can feel the connection with the footboard right here. And I think see how that's where that core works. See, you watch, boom, see a little drop, boom, right there. The weight sinks back into the seat right there. And it's going to happen a little bit, but you can also see it in the chain. There. You're finishing it up, and there's this little movement there. You can see it. There. You're just losing that connection a little bit with the foot structure. And I think these are all things that are going to help you go faster. So core work, working on sitting up, working on that core, working on sequencing out of the release right here, and that pause drills, pause at arms and body over, pause at the number one position, pause at the body over position, rock and row, right? I'm going to send you some drills that I think will really help here. When you're getting up to the catch, doing the first quarter of your stroke, boom, practicing 10 strokes, quarter, then 10 strokes, half slide, and really just making sure that we're hanging the weight, we're in this position here, we're not being too hasty with opening up the body, we're driving here, we're driving through the hips, and then being more patient on opening up. And then finally, it's core control right here, right? Feeling there so that you can push, right? Because what we've got here is, if you're strong there's your connection with the machine, right? And if you're not strong here, then you pay for it in this last part of the stroke. And these machines love, they favor the back end of the stroke, right? If you're in a boat, it's a little bit more get on the front end, be patient, but get on the front end. But these machines, they just tend to, if you can row the back half of that stroke, but yeah, you've got to row the legs well and the first part well. I'm not saying that that's an out, but that's a prerequisite for a good stroke, rowing that front end. But rowing the last part, firing the hips at the right point, keeping acceleration on, and your clue is in your force curve. Watching it, right? What's it doing here? That's your clue right here. Another way to think about it is off the catch, right, off the beginning of the stroke, boom, your focus is right here. That's where your center of gravity is. But you watch this, your center of gravity is up here, right? And we want it there. So, you know, I might have described it to you before, but it's like catching a cannonball in your stomach, right? Drive there, drive here, drive through here, and you're going to be doing a much more effective stroke, I think. So, I think that's enough to work on for this month. But pause drills, doing catch drills is important, and core work and mobility work. It all kind of comes together for a better power application, a better, you know, hanging your body weight. It's all about using your body weight in rowing. The more effective you can be with that, the faster you're going to go. Okay, I hope this helps, and I'm going to upload this to YouTube and send it over to you. And I saw your note about cycling. Definitely on the bike. You're doing it right. You're absolutely doing the right things. So looking forward to some good improvements this month. So well done, and we'll talk soon.